out of all the countless weird interactions I have had with strangers, this one might have just taken the cake. That's right, it's story time. I drove down to the VA for a appointment and stopped off at the Wendy's across the street. The VA is in downtown Phoenix. Not downtown, but central Phoenix. So, suffice it to say, if you were to sit outside the gates, you could people watch for a while. Last time I was out there, I had the pleasure of watching a homeless man pee on a bus stop. Um, this time, a lot more interesting. So, a lot of homeless, a lot of addicts, a lot of hoodlums, a lot of trouble wandering around in the area. Side note, before I get going on this one, another one of my all-time favorite classics was in the same neighborhood. Just a bit south, I was driving around in my sister's fiance's car. It was a real nice Impala. Normally, I drive pieces of shit. Well, not pieces of shit, but they look like pieces of shit. I don't like the flashy cars because it creates attention, and I don't like that. So, I'm driving this real nice Impala around. It's only a couple of years old. And I pull into this gas station. I'm looking for some property to buy, and I pull into this gas station, and right away everybody comes up, start trying to let me wash your window. Hey man, you got any money? Blah blah blah, like just constant, non-stop, right? And I hear from behind me, and I'm just gassing up, and I hear from behind me, "Hey brother, I can buy you ID." And I'm like, I kind of ignore it, and I hear, "Hey man, I can buy you ID." I'm like, turn around and look, and in the corner of the lot is this large black man in like a trench coat, a top hat, like it's almost comical, right? And he's the ruler of the roost. And he's in the shade of a tree. He's like in a shade, the tree shade of the tree, and he's just standing there, and he's looking right at me. And so I was like, oh fucking a. I was like, what's that? And he doesn't talk that time. When I said, what? I'm sorry, what's that? He starts walking towards me. So I'm like, oh fuck, here we go, man. And he walks up. He gets about halfway across the lot, and he goes, ask him for ID. And he turns around and starts walking off. And so I was like, all right, man. And then I went back to the car, and I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then I'm like, oh, he's talking about all the people asking for money. Like, is he helping me out? So I turned back around. He's gone. So this guy, immediately after that, this guy walks up. He's not wearing shoes. He's wearing slippers. And he walks up and he goes, fuck. He's like, have you seen my high tops? And I go, what? And he goes, have you seen my high tops? And I go, dude, you're wearing slippers. And he goes, yeah, but I need my high tops. And I go, can I see your ID? And this fucking cat turned around and fucking beelined out of there. Okay. I have tried it on two other occasions when beggars came up to me, and then another time when I was trying to roost this meth head out of the corner of my lawn. He was pooping behind my bushes. But let me see your ID. You do not need to. You do not need to come off as a police or anything like that. I told this story to a female, and she said it. She said she was in her car gassing up, and somebody came up and was asking her for money, and she said, "Can I see your ID?" And they immediately turned around and fucking bogeyed out of there. So, ask them for ID. I did it on 2 other occasions. One time was this dude shitting behind my bush. I did a perimeter check, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck, man? I said, hey, motherfucker. What? Get the fuck out from behind my bush. I'm collecting rocks. The fuck you are? You're dropping a turd. Pull your pants up and get the fuck out of here. I'm collecting rocks. I go, I'm looking right at you, asshole. Get the fuck out of here. I'm collecting rocks. So dude's dropping a big turd behind my bush. So the next day I went over and chopped the bush down. Bathroom is gone. It's this corner. It's this little corner. There's 2 main streets, and then there's a little corner of my wall that juts back in, and then there's a bush there, so it's perfect for people to hang out. They would always leave food and stuff there, but I'm like, whatever, you know. And then once they started shitting behind my bush, I'm like, all right, you're gone. I chainsawed that fucker. So, but yeah, ask them for ID. So cool. And the dude reached out and hooked me up, gave me that little nugget. I appreciate you, big man, if you're out there watching, if you're one of my 45 subscribers. So today, so I go to Wendy's, and okay, this is meaningless and stupid, but it does come into play later, okay? So it's well documented how horribly unlucky I am. When I play games and stuff, I never get. So on one of my games, there's this, it's kind of a poker game. And I find out, you know, the probability. I'm very mental and, you know, stats and stuff. And I find out the probability. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to hit these big things. I'm just going to stay the course. Play these, you know, orange ones. And those that have the highest probability to hit. And, you know, I'm still not really hitting anything. I'm not getting, you know, 3 of a kind or anything like that. I'm getting a lot of pairs, and you don't get any points for those. So I'm chugging along, and I'm just grinding, getting points on this thing, on my game. And there were a couple of times where I did the roll, you know, bink, 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 bink. When I did that roll, I ran into the bathroom and smoked pot. And when I came back, it was okay. So I'm like, okay, I'm not religious, but I do believe that there's an energy, something out there connecting us. I believe in karma. I try to live life as good as possible, because when you fuck with me or cross me, I tend to get pretty dirty, and I don't give up. But, you know, I believe that there's something out there. I don't think it's a god. I don't think it's one of the 116 gods that are out, religions that are out there that all, you know, claim to be the correct one. But I think there is something out there. Okay, so I think I've prayed, you know, 2 or 3 times at my darkest at my darkest hours. Even if there is a God, you know, great. I just disagree with organized religion because of, you know, the evil that is in, and the cover-ups and stuff like that, the molestation, the theft, all sorts of stuff like that. But beside the point, I am playing this game, and I find out that when I don't watch the roll, it pays off better. So I'm like, okay. So I start looking away from my screen when it flips, and it starts working. And I remember thinking, like, I'm looking up, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, where am I gonna look? I'm like, okay, I'll look up, and I'm like, perfect This has the effect that I'm praying also because I'm looking up at God. It was kind of my own little inside joke, but the thing's hitting off now. It's popping off. I'm getting four of a kinds, five of a kinds, four of a kinds. I'm getting three of a kinds with the rare kind, which pays off. I'm getting I'm not getting anything, and on the final roll, I'm getting four or fives of a kind. Like it's working. So I'm doing it the whole time, every time it rolls. It probably doesn't work a handful of times every day. Now, I do also understand that I'm at the back end of this game competition, so that it's Marvel Contest of Champions. So I'm sure Kabam probably juiced the odds. Okay, let's start paying these guys out, and with tokens. So there is a little bit of that, but I was thinking like, man, every time I look up, like that kernel of thought is in my mind. So today, walk into Wendy's, and this lady runs up to me, and she's attractive, older, big fake boobs, and she's dark ethnic like I like. I like dark eyes. I like a darker Mediterranean, Jewish women, Indian women, black women, Hispanic women, like dark. I've never been a big fan of like lighter skinned. I honestly, I can count on one hand the amount of women that don't have brown eyes that I find attractive. Angie Everhart, Kathy Ireland, when I was like 8. So I have a type. She's got a fucked up nose. Bing bong. That's my ultimate weird type. I don't know why. I like a weird schnoz. But so I this lady runs up to me, and she goes, "Oh, you look like that one guy." And I go, "Yeah, Colin Farrell." And normally I do it with the bad Irish accent, but I'm tired, stoned out of my gourd. So she goes, "No, no, no, no." And I go, "Ron Livingston from Office Space." And she goes, "No, no, George Clooney." And I go, "Get the fuck out. What do you?" I go, "I do not look like George. Thank you. I've never heard that one before. I get it a lot." And she goes, "Yeah, I'm sure you do." And I'm like, and I go, "What's that supposed to mean?" And because she's got the big boobs. And it's been a while. So I don't, whatever. So I'm like, "What's that supposed to mean?" And she goes, "Oh, you just have classic movie looks. And I'm sure, throughout your life you've gotten mistaken for, you know, well-known actors at the time, popular actors at the time." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have. I go, I got mistaken by Ron Livingston's sister. Um, so, yeah, yeah." And she, what the hell did she say after that? She starts peppering me with questions that are just hitting the nail on the head. And she's saying stuff like, when we said when it, about the acting thing, she goes, "Yeah, I know." No, what did she goes, "Yeah, I know." She says something where I'm like, "Yeah, blah blah blah." She goes, "Yeah, I know." And God, how did it segue into that? Oh, she goes, when you walk in, she goes, are people drawn to you?" And I go, "What do you mean?" And she goes, are people, like, if you're in a room full of people, do strangers come up and talk to you? And I'm like, "Yeah." And I go, "I was at the gym, like if I'm at the gym, I've had people come up to me and like I got to take my headphone off, and they're like, 'You look like my lawyer,' or just weird stuff. 'You look like Mike Hampton.'" So I go, "Yeah," and she starts ticking stuff off, and she goes, at some point, she says, she goes, "Yeah, have you heard of alchemy?" And I go, yeah, I'm aware of alchemy. And she goes, well, like the old time meaning of alchemy. And I'm like, it was like trying to turn stuff into gold, and it was like, trying to find an elixir to cure everything, right? And she's like, yeah, it's pretty much that. It's turning, something bad into good, spiritual, blah, blah, blah. She goes, but alchemy was called something before, and then it got a bad connotation, and then it kind of branched into chemistry and spiritualism, but before it was, and she said something where I was like, witchcraft, and she's like, no. She made a face and she said like Wiccan, and she's like, witchcraft, that's kind of derogatory. How did we get into this? At this point, I'm like, okay. Once you start going religion or spirituality, I'm like, okay, I'm out. I was about to go. You know what? I don't believe in anything. I'm a atheist. But again, she had the big boobs, so she starts peppering me with questions. And before that, she says, she starts explaining about alchemy, and she's like, it's balance, it's four elements, you know, and she goes, how are you with energy? And I'm like, I'm negative, I'm a pessimist. And she's like, no, not that, just like, how are you with like um, computer? And I go, oh, me and computers are not like, there's something embedded in me. They crap out on me. The hand things never work. On two occasions, I've walked into a store and the security alarm has gone off. This last time, it just happened at the hell's the name of that store? Doesn't matter. But I walk in. It's a department store, so it's all women. I walk in, and whoop boop boop, and I'm like, I don't what the. And the lady's like, yeah, we saw you walk in. It's I mean, you're good. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, maybe you have something. I go, no, I haven't bought anything in forever. These are old. I go, it's happened before. And she's like, never here. And I'm like, you know. So I'm like, yeah. I go, there was this guy at the airport that I met that was a traveler, that there was this German study that they did, that had people that had this adverse effect on electronics, and he kind of ticked everything off, and I kind of met that, I hit all those punch lists. So yeah, me and technology don't get along. And so she starts asking me all these other very pointed, on the nail questions. She's like, do you have an affinity towards nature and animals? And I'm like, yeah, animals more. Like, I love pets and they respond to me. And nature, I guess, too. I love being outside. I don't ever want to be out, or I love being outside. I don't ever want to be inside. I try to roll down the window in my cars, and like, I want to be outside. I love the beach. I love water. And she's like, yeah, it's the four elements again. And I'm like, so she's hitting me up on all this stuff, and she goes, I don't know if you have someone right now, and I hate to tell you this, but it probably isn't going to work out. She's like, people like you are typically loners, and you end up alone at for the most part. And I'm like, I mean, I am a loner. I'm like, I've only really had one girlfriend, but like, yeah, I live at home with my dogs, and I don't go out much. I don't see people. I mean, I'm going to be living on a mountain soon, away from everyone. So yeah, I'd say that's accurate. And at this point, I am aware of kind of what's going on. I don't think she's. I mean, my radar's up. Like, if she's trying to grift me, if she's doing some kind of mentalist thing where she's like, okay, I see dog hair on him, he doesn't have a ring, blah blah blah. But the shit she brought up was really really pointed. So then she starts asking me, oh man, I knew I should have wrote this down right away. But she starts asking me all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, yeah. She goes, do you have dreams that sometimes turn out to be real? And I'm like, yeah, but that's deja vu. Everybody gets that. And she goes, do you get a lot of deja vu? And I go, yeah, a lot, but everybody gets that. And she's like, what about like dreams that aren't like crazy that you remember that actually happen? Not you think it's deja vu. Do you ever have dreams that actually happen where you're like, oh shit, I had a dream about this? I go, yeah. She says, what else? What else was it? Just weird. Oh, she goes, are you athletic and skilled? She goes, are you skilled? And I go, like what? Like how so? And she goes, are you good at stuff? Like drawing, whatever, sports. I go, yeah, I'm okay at drawing. I can probably carry a tune. Instruments aren't too hard. I don't play any instruments, but I get the hang of them quick. Played a lot of sports. I'm better. I don't think there are many sports that I'm bad at. So yeah, I mean, stuff comes easy to me. And she goes, "Are you are you unlucky?" And I go, "I am the most." Everybody says they're unlucky, but I am like unlucky to where I use it to my benefit. Like I know that I am not going to win anything. I do not gamble. I've handed over tickets to friends and they have instantly won. Yes, I'm very unlucky. I have only won 2 things in my life out of random chance, out of all kind of contests and fundraisers and everything. One was a radio. It was a TV station contest, and I won 2 dinosaur transformers. They were pretty badass actually, and I won those, and I took them to my school and showed them off for half the day, and then at lunch I sold them to my friend Jeff Rupel. I'm sorry, Jeff. And then I stole them after lunch. And I gave them to another friend and told him that he owed me. So I always kind of figured that was where my bad luck came from, and I was owed it, So, but then there was one other time where I won. I live in Arizona. I'm back home in Wisconsin, and it's wintertime, so it's cold out. All the guys are hunting. I go to my buddies, my really good buddy, my childhood buddies, softball smoker. It's a fundraiser. And they have raffles. And out of all the guns and bows and knives and sights and everything, everybody is salivating and talking about this full suit Under Armour thing. It's just a thermal. It's like it's camo thermal underwear. But people are talking about it, and even outside, I'm like, "What? Bet I'm gonna fucking win this thing and piss everybody off." And sure enough, I'm there visiting, and they fucking read off my number, and I'm like, "You gotta be shitting me!" And I'm with my 2 buddies. Brad, Tony, something happened where somebody was like, fuck, I don't want it, or they started bidding for it or something. And so I think I gave it to Tony where I was like, dude, just you can have it. Just give me a couple of JMOs. Pay for my bar tab tonight and you can have it. pay for half of my bar tab tonight and you can have it because I'm going to lay the hurt on this place. And but all night long, people are like that all night long. Like, no matter what it was doing, everybody talked about the underwear. Where I'm like, hey, Duncan, see you, buddy. It was so fucking awesome seeing you, bro. I love you, buddy. He's like, yeah. You too, man. Enjoy those fucking underwear, prick. And I'm like, dude, I don't even have them. I gave them to Tony. Or, I'm like, hey, I'm outside smoking and somebody would walk by and be like, hey, what's up, sir? Enjoy those fucking underwear down in Arizona, man. And I'm like, dude, everybody heard me. I fucking sold them to Tony. Like, I don't know why you guys are still busting my balls about this. And they're like, you're from fucking Arizona, man. What are you going to do with underwear? And I'm like, I don't have them anymore, man. What are you guys so pissed off about? So those were the 2 times that I've won things. So I'm like, yes, I'm horribly unlucky. I'm what's known as a cooler. But it doesn't work because if I go and sit next to somebody, they will win. It's just me. And she asks another couple of things, and she's getting around to the fact, I can kind of tell that she doesn't want to scare me off. I can tell that she's tiptoeing around and trying not to be crazy, but I'm already wrote her off as crazy when she started talking about spirituality and everything. So, but now I'm in it because she's hitting everything on the head. And I'm like, okay, she's probably grifting me or something. Honestly, she looks like a hot gypsy. So I'm thinking she's going to be like, hey, why don't you come back to my place? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm all in. I'm Wiccan. Let's go. And then we go to Sexy Town. And then I peace out. But that doesn't happen. She is just intent on letting me know. Oh, I didn't even tell you that. I think I might have mentioned this. But yeah, she goes, at when she gets done grilling me, she goes, yeah. So she says, God, what did she say? She goes, okay, so alchemy is a balance. And she goes, at some point one of your ancestors was an alchemist. And that doesn't mean that alchemy will be easy for you. It just means that your alchemy, which kind of means different things, she goes, your alchemy is unbalanced. And she goes, that's why if you're skilled and good looking and these things come to you, you're unlucky because the universe doesn't want you to have all of that and be lucky. If you have all these skills and traits and gifts, special gifts, she goes, being more receptive to your third eye is definitely a gift, especially if you don't ascribe to it and all this stuff is coming out of you. I'm like, you want to see what else can come out of me? What? I thought it was funny. Whatever, dude. So she says, I'm just saying that, somewhere down the line, it's in your heritage. It has at some point kind of built up and all over you. She didn't do that, but she said like built up. Now I just keep thinking about making a spooge. Dude, I'm fucking childish. I'm sorry. So she says, yeah, you're just more open to this, She goes, I felt you as soon as you walked in the store. And this is when I'm going, yes, this chick's trying to get one over on me. And I am going to put one in her. So it's not a grift, though. She's just intent on letting me know this. So she goes, you could test it out. She goes, what's confounding you lately? And I go, maybe work. I mean, this injury. I just had hand surgery, my back, but probably work. She's like, what about work? And I go, my bosses are stupid. And she's like, perfect. She goes, get something of theirs. And I go, what do you mean by that? And she goes, saliva works the best, but anything of theirs that they've had for a while, or anything of their personal belongings, anything, maybe even a picture can work, but you don't have to do like a doll, but just put something kind of in signifying them. Did she say a canister? Or was that me thinking about how to bury it? But either way, she's like, bury it in your backyard. And I'm like, holy shit. We're into voodoo. And I'm like, okay, so what happens then? And she's like, they end up, I mean, whatever you kind of do with your thoughts and with your channeled energy is kind of what happens. And I'm like, so, like, ending up 6 feet under? Like, I don't want to kill them. I don't like their ideas, but I don't want them to die. And she's like, okay, well, think of somebody that you don't like. And I'm like, oh, I mean, even this dude Cliff Fisher, who stole my business in Madison and is just a horribly disgusting, evil person who deserves to die. I don't want him to die or would be responsible for it. And she's like, oh yeah, it won't work then. You can't do it. And I'm like, I mean, this is not a definitive test. Don't you, like, I mean, I can't be like some super sorcerer. There's got to be other people that experience these symptoms, and they can't have the power to just go around and kill people by burying stuff in their backyard. And she's like, well, it's not a superpower. It's an imbalance with nature. It's being more in touch with nature and this power that's out there. If you do something like this, you kind of use up the stored energy, and you're going to be weird and fucked up for a while until your natural imbalance comes back again, and then you could do it again. I'm like, this is fucking. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not gonna try to kill anybody. And she's like, yeah, that's all good. And she's like, I just wanted you to know that. She goes, promise me you'll look into alchemy. And I'm like, I will. And she goes, no, you need to promise me that you will look into this. And I go, I will buy a book on alchemy tonight. And I did. And it really just has to do with turning lead into gold. I mean, I know what she's talking about, but I'm not going to buy fucking Wiccan books. I will probably buy like a 4 elemental spiritual. I know there's a philosopher out there who kind of specialized this. But I'll probably look into it. But man, was that weird. She didn't bring up one thing where I was like, Everything she brought up was. And yeah, I get she could be a grifter and looking at me like the mentalist is just, trying to get something from me. But, man, that was weird. And then driving home, it got me thinking about the game, and how, like, looking away was, I don't know, weird stuff. Weird, wild stuff. I did not know that. Yeah, so the next time you hear from me, I may be a wizard that has mastered the Philosopher's Stone and am ready to dominate the world. Just take over this son of a bitch. Actually, no, there's not. had this conversation with my little brother because I called my little brother about this. He's like, if it runs in the family, I'll just harness this and, make a fortune. I'm like, dude, you always see wizards in shacks, huts, caves. They never have money. They're never rich. If they are in a castle, it's because a king has basically enslaved them and using them. So we're going to keep this under wraps. Wait, what the fuck did I just do, Chico? Just kidding.